All right. Okay. We're back live. I'll let some more people get in here, but for those of y'all that's gonna be watching this back, I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to double tap the screen, comment, share, subscribe when you get the time, and let's get this ball rolling. Today we're talking about something that's very near and dear to me is mental health. Now, I'm not even gonna ask anybody if they know anybody with mental health issues or if they know anybody that's suffering from mental health disorder, because really the real true answer is you may or may not know somebody who's suffering from mental health. You got a lot of mental health deniers out there that have definite, indefinite vexations of the spirit and are either undiagnosed or they don't allow themselves to get help from anybody. So, let me see. Why is it acting like? Okay, so this one is live. Okay, cool. This one is live. I want to make sure people don't get caught up on the other one. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna just get right into it because we all know somebody that's suffering from mental health, right? Let's talk about both instances though. So for those of us that are around people that are suffering from mental health, you might even be yourself included. I won't even say suffering, but for the purposes of introducing the topic, get the ball rolling. Sure, let's say that you're suffering from this mental health condition, or you know somebody that's suffering, meaning they don't have a grasp on their current reality with their current self, and they feel are out of control. So let's talk about the people that know exactly what they got. So we can talk about depression, severe depression. He's going viral right now, but somebody said it best. Jim Carrey, he said, depression is when you need deep rest, depression. Your body needs to depress from all that has been intaken, from all the baggage and the bad, I like to call it bad beans that you've been collecting. Could be throughout a couple days, couple weeks, a couple months, whatever the case may be. It's the bad baggage, bad luggage that you've been carrying on your body, on your person, that hasn't allowed you to naturally become anew every single day and to strive. Not even to strive. That's not what I want. That's not the way I want to put it to you. Just to exist. Humans, we naturally shed every day. We shed skin, we shed belief systems, we shed ideas. We renew ourselves daily. So when you are in depression, it's really kind of like you're just stuck on like this constant, deep kind of bad root. You've attached yourself to like a spoiled vine, and it's not that you are out of order, is that you're identifying and you're paying attention to disorder. You know what I mean? Welcome in, T Bear. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget to double tap, like, comment, share, subscribe. For those of y'all that's gonna be watching this back, we are the biggest, by the way. But yeah, we talking about mental health and the spiritual amplifications of it. I'm getting surface level with depression and all that stuff, but I'm getting there. So, yeah, we know a lot of people with depression. Jim Carrey said it best. In depression, you need deep rest. Your body needs to depress from all the nonsense that has been downloaded. That's what depression is all about. But people, if you peep this, if you know anybody that's ever been in depression is, I believe, is a natural human response to a society that doesn't operate to promote your health. What do I mean by that? So we live in Western society. People in Eastern societies, you don't really see too much instances of depression, meaning feeling separated or feeling outside of your own body. You don't see many instances of that. You know what I mean? You don't see many instances of that in traditional Eastern societies. What you do, or what you might see, is extreme happiness, extreme joy, extreme sadness, or the feeling of extreme remorse and extreme loss. And that's because, these people, they feel. But depression is it's kind of like a Western phenomena as it relates to just contemplating one's own existence and being depressed within that. You know, not that something happened to you or something's causing you to feel some sadness or to feel some time for remorse. No, you're depressed because you aren't comfortable in the body or the reality that you live in. That's what modern depression is. And so what our bodies and our biochemist has naturally done for us to offset that, for us to like weave our way through that was, oh man, I feel like I just don't want to do anything anymore. I just can't deal with this life. I just can't be here. I don't feel this. You know what I mean? I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like showing up. I don't feel like opening up my doors and my windows. I want to be left alone. I want to think about who I am. I want to figure this out. I want to feel something. I have to feel something, very much so. Depression is just that. It's a superpower, or it's a super mechanism rather. It's a super program. It's a super reset button that automatically gets flipped on within our anatomy when we are out of whack with our environment, which our environment is naturally out of whack with us. I would argue consistently so. Easily. So really, from a standpoint, whereas you gotta exist in this, you gotta exist in this life. You gotta participate with, what goes on and stuff like that. You gotta participate with what goes on and stuff like that. Depression is the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that hard stops you and makes you say like, yo, this ain't gonna work out. This ain't cutting it. I hate this life. I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate how I look. I hate how I think. I hate how I walk. I hate who I hang around. Just spewing out things that in many contexts, even if, in particular contexts, when you trying to cleanse yourself of your thoughts, you just say some of the most vile things because this is your body, this is your anatomy loading itself. It's putting everything out there, so it's taking inventory. That's what your system is doing. It's taking inventory. So you experience it through, I hate this, I hate myself, I hate this, I hate, through a lack of understanding. That's how you experience it. But it doesn't have to be that way if you come into this understanding that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Thank you, Lord. And I know y'all gonna be watching this back. We are physical beings having a spiritual experience. So anything we go through and how we respond to it if we look at it right, will be also the answer to how we get through it. We curing the diseases today. We curing diseases today. We curing it. Depression. You need deep rest. I sleep too much anyway. Yeah, resting without purpose is destructive. Resting on purpose, through purpose, with purpose is the best thing that you can do to offset the worst things that's going to you. Your body's natural flex might be when something go bad or something go really wrong. You're like, man, let me go take a nap. I'm about to go sleep this off. Why? Because your body is tense. It's locked up. So it automatically says, man, I need to rest. I need to try to reset myself. I need to try to let this stuff go. I need to try to get rid of this. I don't want to hang on to it no more. I got to let this go. And we take that and we look at ourselves as non-productive or as lazy or being in the way. But that's exactly what we need. Laziness again is is non-productivity without motive, with motive. Non-productivity with motive. You want to not do nothing. Rest is productivity, or rest on productivity, depending on how you look at it, with motive. You need to do this, as opposed to you want to do this to try to get away from something. No, you need to do this to get through something, to get into something, to think through something, to bring something new forth. Depression helps with that. I prescribe you depression instead of the drugs that you take for depression, which make you suicidal. Because you're already in that introspective space, and you're learning to listen to your own voice, which in this Western culture, we traditionally, historically, all the time, uniformly neglect. Constantly, consistently. Oh Lord, we cooking today. We cooking today. Don't worry, by the grace of God, I'm throwing some financial literacy in here too. Yeah, by the grace of God, we're gonna throw in some financial literacy too. But yeah, depression is a good thing. Don't let nobody convince you otherwise. I'm an advocate for depression. Yes, I'm pro-depression. You know, we need more people depressed, really considering and thinking about the lives and the things that they either put up with, do, condone, or empathize with. You know, we need people depressed. We need people doing self-inventories consistently, constantly doing so. Okay, that's depression. So we now know that we need depression. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm glad that we got an understanding on that. We understand depression, good thing. Right? In the context of how we just laid it out. Depression, good thing. Paranoia, schizophrenia. That's what I was trying to talk about on the previous slide before it got disconnected. But that's what we've seen an increase on in the last decade and a half or so. We've seen an influx of paranoia and schizophrenia. Since COVID, we've seen a massive increase in paranoia. You know, since the surge of modern social media as well. As to say, different than the 2010 social media. Why is paranoia a good thing? Paranoia is an excellent thing. Paranoia is a superpower. We need more paranoid people. We need more depressed people. We need more depressed people because they're going to take time and do self-inventory on themselves. And usually once actually done thoroughly, and the work is done sometimes with proper guidance, often and exclusively with support, depression can be one of the best ways to self-audit and to self-correct, because you have to go into a nature of rest. Paranoia, oh man, let's talk about paranoia. Paranoia, we need more paranoid people nowadays because the world is so sketched out, bro. For my Californians, it's so sketchy, bro. The world is so sketchy, bro. If you don't have some form of paranoia from just general conspiracy, like constant surveillance, then we can't really help. What's up, Cal? I appreciate you being here, dog. Welcome in. I'm good, brother. How you feeling? How you doing? I'm good, bro. I'm enjoying some of this great weather, my boy. And I'm talking about how mental health is actually superpowers. All of them, not just some of them. All of them are superpowers. Now, of course, the nuances of how you use your superpower can either lead to it being against you, just like in the movies, or it can totally be for you. Yo. What's up with it, Bravely? I appreciate you being here, dog. The other live crashed out and boomed. That's what happened. So I'm started up this new one, and I appreciate you guys being here. We're talking about how mental health is actually literally that is you having like some Magneto, Morpheus type of impact or level of clearancy, because it is. So back to schizophrenia, schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. What's up with it, Nick? What's up with it, dog? I appreciate you being here. Yeah, solo gang, we in here, dog. All of y'all are lit, bro. We're gonna throw some financial literacy in here too, but let me get these mental superpowers out the way, because I know for a fact that all of us know at least one person that got depression. A lot of us might not know schizophrenics, but again, it's been increasing over the last decade and a half by like 50% since like the 90s and the 80s and previous generations. You know, this current generation and this current version of reality that we live in, we have more people who are getting glitched out and twitched out and their nerves is tweaking because of these downloads that all of us are noticing, but not all of us are perceiving it. You feel me? So back to schizophrenia. And paranoia, because paranoia is definitely a good thing, bro. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not. Paranoia, once used in this context, the way that we're about to break it down right now, it's the best thing in the world. So again, this world is getting more sketchy, bro. Why wouldn't you be paranoid? Paranoia can only be misused when it is used inwardly. Meaning you're just paranoid with yourself, meaning you can't be alone with your own thoughts. Like you see how I'm in my house and I'm in my crib. If I'm at this crib and I'm alone by myself and I can't deal with myself, then that opens the door for malevolency, meaning the spirits of the Nephilim. We learned about that, right? The spirits of the Nephilim, or you call them demons, or they call them, our government calls them interdimensional beings. That's what our government calls them, interdimensional beings, you know. There's different classes that ask stuff, but we can talk about that later. But anyway, there is an unseen world atmosphere that we currently exist in within our current reality that we are not privy to because of our current level of understanding, or also because of our current sight perception. You know, we can only peep like what, 13% of it. 13% of it or something like that. Paranoia can be the destroyer. It for sure can be the destroyer. It can be the destroyer of this illusion, is what paranoia can do. But again, if used in the wrong context, all of this stuff is going to sound ludicrous. It's all going to sound like, bro, you know, what are you talking about? I know somebody that suffers from this stuff, and you know what you're talking about is disrespecting what they go through. Peep me out for a little bit. Follow. So paranoia in this context, when used inwardly, yes, it's extremely destructive. It can lead to suicide for sure. It can lead to you harming somebody. It can lead to you assuming things about people that don't necessarily have to fit or do with the situation, because again, you're listening to the wrong. We talk about how we're all in this ocean of thoughts and perception, right? The people, you know, we call them elites. They know this stuff. We talk about these things as if it's conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy when you're doing these higher level maths and stuff like that there. So anyways, we're in this ocean of possibility, right? And we're being filled with information constantly, currently at a time. I appreciate the I don't even know what to call these things. Y'all know I'm new to super chat. I appreciate the super chat, Nick. But yeah, we're constantly in this ocean of stuff. So when you're sensitive to what's going on around you, we're gonna call it schizophrenia and paranoia over here on the West. But on the East, you know, the old side of the world, the real side of the world, where stuff is, you know, where they're a little bit more connected. Maybe not so much as culturally, but just because of the lack of cultural explosion like we got here on the West, they're a little bit more connected to how things really go. So anyways, you might be called a seer or a shaman in some cultures. You know, you might lead people, lead your tribe or whatever to bountiful harvest season because of your dreams and stuff like that. But I'm jumping. Let's stick on paranoia real quick. Again, when used inwardly, it's the worst thing you can do. I don't suggest it. But we're in this ocean of information, so we're constantly being fed thoughts, whether it be good or bad, and we have to decide on which door that we're going to choose. People in industry say that, there's a door that leads you to another part of success. Yeah, those are just choices, or a different choice that they have to make at that time. It's a little harder or more important than the choice that they just made. You know what I mean? It's what voice are they going to continue to listen to? Are they going to continue to listen to the voice of the industry, which is, or are they going to listen to themselves and keep their integrity? You know what I mean? So it's what voices that you are tuning into. Because we all hear voices. I mean, we can act like we don't. Some people call them, well, there's been that phenomenon going on of people talking like they don't have an inner dialogue or stuff like that. I've never met none of those people. Do they have souls? I think we all have souls. I think those people are kind of like the people that say that they don't remember their dreams. We all go somewhere. We all have our pineal gland does something where our REM sleep, we all do something. We all go to a dimension. You just might be so numb to your own inner self, to your own spirit, to your own soul, your own essence, that you like ignore all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's basically like, well, I'm gonna keep showing you dreams, and well, I'm gonna show you anything when you're not even gonna register it in the way, you don't register nothing I tell you anyway. So everything is just gonna be silent for you. It's like you didn't pay your cable bill. All you gotta do is cut it back on. You know what I mean? Once you pay attention to it and take care of it. It's kind of like that. So schizophrenics, what happens with schizophrenics, right? They see realities and stuff like that that's not there. That's what they say. That's what we say. But again, we see 13% of what science has proven to be there. So who's seeing, who's lying to who? Who's lying to who, people? I mean, I want to know, like, whose story or whose idea about this are we believing? Are we believing the guys that are constantly spoon feeding us bits and pieces of information and acting like, that this type of stuff is new? Or are we going to believe, the old stories, which suggest that we live in a world of possibilities, and we live in a world filled with world. We live in a world surrounded by different dimensions, and we live in a world surrounded by unseen beings who interact with us. That's what the old world says. And I'm inclined to believe with that. So when you're sensitive to the spirit, you hear them talking to you. You hear them talking to you. I got for example, I got a close friend of mine. I haven't spoken to him in a while. I hope he's doing well. I'm sure he watches the show. I got a close friend of mine who, his parents put him in I'll read your comment in just a second, dog. I got a close friend of mine that, his family put him into was it a mental? So I know there's different types of mental hospitals or situations when you get sit in for evaluation. Like there's hospitals or whatever where they treat you medically. I mean, I guess you can receive medicine at all of them, but there's a specific hospital, I suppose. Then there's like just dormitories and stuff where they keep you and they observe you and they, so he got sent to one of them. And do I think he needed to go there? I definitely think that he needed to talk to somebody who wasn't me. I mean, I tried talking to him, dude. This is what was going on. And maybe you guys know some people like this. This is what was going on when he got sent in. He was just kind of like talking about how he, like, everything was like major with him. You know what I mean? Like, he was either like, he was the richest man in the world. And he's convinced of this, even though if his current reality suggests otherwise, even if he's, on a lazy, we chiefed a lot back then too. So even if we're, just every single day I see him, we just chief. And, we really, none of us are actively working towards any goals right now. You know what I mean? He was just like really heavy on like, no, I'm the richest in the world. I have all the money. I have all the wealth. I have all the power. The world moves at my, basically at my say so, was pretty much his vibe. And I knew that it was crazy, but I knew it wasn't crazy, if you know what I mean. Like, I knew what he was saying was like, obviously it's delusional. Cause like, obviously, everybody in here broke right now. Like, we all broke. Like, you know that, right? Like, you know that, right? Like, you know that, right? And we would ask him. I would ask him, like, you know that, right? And he was like, it's all in your mind. That's what he would say. I mean, he would do other stuff too. Like, he would stretch out kind of like a monster, or what was you trying to be, bro? I'm trying to think. Like, why was you doing that? He suffered from real stiffness in the neck and in his shoulders and behind the solar plexus in this area right here. He had a lot of tension, and also spiritual indications, by the way. We can talk about that in a few. I mean, it can either kill you or it can make you pure. But that's what we're talking about along them lines. Anyways, everything was big with this dude, right? So he ended up having to go spend. I'll call him Leak. Leak had to go to the wherever he went. They sent him there for like 3 days, 3 or 2 days. And during that time, he said he just had conversations with people. They had him take it, and he was prescribed some medicine. But I was just wondering, and I was just thinking, like, again, I knew that he was like, it was crazy, and he was definitely like saying stuff and looking crazy too. Like, during these times, you can suffer from, now this is the suffering part. You can suffer from mania, being manic, not getting no sleep. You know what I mean? You can suffer from that. And that's because literally your system is being rewired. If you want to learn anything from this AI revolution, learn how the system updates and upboots and constantly reconfigures and reconfines itself in real time. That's you, man. It's artificial intelligence. It's you. It's copying you. So when you see these people on their schizophrenic episodes, or you see things that bring it out of them, particularly marijuana used to bring these symptoms out of him. It affected me too after being around him. Peep that game too. How we talk about that all the time, how spirits can jump from you, or not even the spirit, but the awakening touch, I'll call it. You know what I mean? If you're around somebody who's awakened, you'll be around them enough, you're gonna be awakened too, or you're gonna be repulsed by them. Meaning you're gonna have to go away. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. I see a couple. Let me make sure I get the comments here. Ripples. Yeah, it is ripples. Different dimensions that we in. It's like it happens in waves. Ripples. It happens in ripples for sure. And each ripple is it re-updating or realigning itself to center. That's what each wave is, And just like a wave in the ocean, it all comes from like a source, So that wave of information could be something good that you're downloading or something crazy that you're downloading. You know what I mean? What we know, what is visible, is far less than what we don't. Precisely. So, who are we to judge when somebody says, yo, there's somebody over there and it's a dancing clown and he's, you know what I mean? He's doing a robot in the corner. And you're like, nah, bro, you're crazy. The worst thing to do is to call somebody crazy. I think nowadays, now, if they're harmful to you or themselves, there needs to be extreme precaution and safety measures that you need to take. But as far as just being dismissive of somebody, I think I think it is in the best interest of the human race to reconsider just giving up on somebody because they start seeing things differently, even if it's considerably differently than the status quo. I think it's dangerous. And I'll continue using my friend as an example. So again, I knew he was crazy in that regard, like traditional standards, just being around him, kind of just you feel the tension, he not trying to be weird, but he can't help it. You can't help it. His nerves is tweaked out. They supercharged. They can no longer settle in a current reality which he does not align with or does not understand. He cannot be still. That's why you see people with motor what they call it. What's the one guy that yelled out? Who called Michael B. Jordan And the other dude from Sinners, he called him the hard R during the Grammys or whatever like that. Tourette's. He's supercharged too. But either he's a liar or he's getting these, he allows bad invisible words to bad invisible vibes to download into the system. That's the nicest way I can say that. Because all that stuff, Tourette's, you're supercharged. It's like a supercomputer. It's like you fast forward on the screen times 2 or times 4 times 6, depending on the severity of it. And if used correctly, I mean, math geniuses. Literally social computers, organic computers. Those people can be. But all that did was just show the contents of his heart, and how he really felt. But yeah, schizophrenia, bro. We just debunked depression. Depression is super good. I mean, we need more people depressed, admitting that they're depressed. Because once you admit that you're depressed, you'll admit and you'll acknowledge that your system is saying, bro, we have to stop. We have to stop. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in her. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in them. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to keep doing this. Of course, when used destructively and irresponsibly, just like anything, it should come with a warning label on it. If I could package it up for you, it would. It would say, warning, can lead to extended periods of isolation, drowsiness, fatigue. If you've been experiencing, I would package it for you wonderfully. But all I can tell you is the real, though. The real is, again, it's kind of like the best thing that we can have in a Western society like this, because it's our body's way of understanding, or rather recentering ourselves to where we notice. We're old spirits coming to a new world, coming to a new place where it's cooler to disassociate ourselves from it instead of dealing with it. People in the old world don't experience depression. They very, very few cases of it, if any, that I'm aware of. People that have traditional cultures, their main problem is what I'm gonna eat tonight, but also like, oh, I'm mad that my cow died, that my dog died. Something like that. Sadness. They experience sadness and joy. We experience depression and, paranoia. They would call it, making sure I don't get killed tomorrow. You know what I mean? They would call it, making sure that I get up in the morning so I can go make sure that we got enough to eat today. Making sure I get these clothes together so we're not cold when winter comes. These are more primitive examples. This can be used in newer examples as well. Let me read that since it's a longer one. Mosaic thump. It is a mosaic thump, bro. It's the divine thump. I believe that awakening is, because if you don't have any guidance with that divine thump, it's just like that. It's just a smack, and it can send you. It's like trying to pin the tail on a donkey. The donkey's in the room, and the donkey is once you wake up. But you gotta find your way. And if you have guidance, like you got people in the room, you're listening to the right voices. You got people in the room telling you, go straight. Those are our guides, right? It's our spirit guide, right? And if we're meditating, we can listen to it. Meditation is a real thing. Let me make sure I read that though. I had a homie that had mental health issues. I knew he wasn't all there, but I had a spiritual awakening around him. And he said his uncle was a 33rd degree Freemason and then got sent to jail, then a mental hospital. Who, the homie did? That's crazy. a lot similar to my buddy that I'm talking about. His dad's like really rich too, for sure. That's crazy. His dad's really rich too, and yeah, rich people, people that's getting money for sure, don't have time to try to figure out like what's going on with you, bud. Like what the fuck is like? Why aren't you acting normal? Excuse my language. Like why aren't you acting normal? You know what I mean? Like why aren't you acting normal around, you know, Thanksgiving, around the holidays? Because you no longer subscribe to that stuff anymore. Literally, your system cannot take it. It can't fake it anymore. It cannot fake him. It cannot fake it anymore. And yeah, it's crazy that you use that example of having your awakening around him, and the occultic background of his family is also interesting. But yeah, the having the awakening around him, like I said, that happened with me for sure. Because when I came back from the Philippines, I had lived over there for like 3 years, from 17 to 20, essentially. Came back when I was like 19 and a half, but you know, from 17 to 20, essentially. And I came back over here, and again, we talk about how everything is different in the old world. Again, these older countries, they're trying to get with the new culture, you know, but they're still stuck in their ways in a lot of areas, and in a lot of places is still fairly off grid, fairly speaking. Man, I came back on my very first day getting off of the plane, because I'd been on the plane for 19 hours, and coming back, my very first and foremost, I came back on a cloudy day, so the sky was gray. You couldn't see the sun. I wasn't used to that. Like even if it's like not even a sunny day, it's still not a, you know, I'm just used to seeing the sun. Anyways, I get outside of the plane, and immediately I feel like this pressure or this weight, like it's a heaviness that was on me. It's the best way I can describe it to you. It was a heaviness on me, and the air quality was starkly different. Like it was like obviously different. Like it was like, it made me kind of like irritated. You know what I mean? Like that's the best way I could put it to you, man. Like it just made me irritated. I was just like mad. I was, you know, I'm just mad. I'm here. I'm not even excited really. You know. Anyways, fast forward. I ended up hanging out with the homie. When I get back, like probably either the same day, or maybe I chilled for like 2 days, and then I saw them on the third day. Man, they look like, you know, it's just like, especially when you leave places for a long period of time and you come back around your old surroundings or around people that you've been around a long time, you know, and you've been separated for a long time though. Man, you can notice everything about these people, if they've been having a good time since you've been gone, or if they've been having a bad time, you know, and these people have been having a bad time, or it's just like, you know, life has caught up with us after high school. You know, you ever seen people like that? You ever seen your homeboys like that? Like some of them, like, man, not even homeboys, just people you went to school with, or just people you grew up around, and just people you might know of. Like, man, some of them are doing pretty good, and some of them are like, bro, man, life is beating you down. The stress, you don't know how to process it, so it's crushing you. You know what I mean? That was them. But, you know, I wanted to be around something familiar. I started hanging out around these guys, and man, you know, a lot of dope conversations and stuff like that, but also a lot of like, I didn't start getting stressed out, because my process with dealing with stress, my whole anatomy had changed by being in the old world, by being in the jungle, essentially. My whole thought process for dealing and processing hurt, uncomfortableness, everything, like my whole anatomy had changed. So when I'm around these guys, I'm kind of like, I'm trying to incorporate that, but it's also kind of hard. It's like literally a war, a clash of ideas going on, because the West does not understand the East, and how, you know, this too shall pass, basically. That's how it is in the old world, bro. Like, them people do not stress, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Like, they stress out when they got to come over here and go to work. They just like, you people work too much. You people work too much. When they talk about America, the first thing that they do, not even, because forget our politics, you know, they'll talk about like, America, oh my God, bro. Like, you know, if they not from a wealthy family, like, they just like, bro, you gotta work so hard over here, bro, just to exist. And very few people have opportunity the time to just exist. So with that, a natural phenomena, that a natural microcosm of it is gonna be depression. It's gonna be anxiety. Which again, by the way, is just like it's just a it's just a just like it's a notification. It's just a notification that your system is letting you know, like, oh, okay, yo, this ain't working for us. Notice the anxiety when it hits. That's your notification indicator. Your system update indicator lets you know when it hits, and where it hits is your system update indicator. It lets you know exactly what's wrong with you. You don't have to guess. These things are superpowers. And then when you have this anxiety, again, I'll connect that with depression. You're doing that self-audit. We need more people who are doing self-audits. Because if we do that, we'll realize and we'll understand that we're not cool with a 40-hour work week minimum. We're not cool with barely being able to afford to send our kids to college, if at all. We're unsatisfied with affordable universal health care if we want to keep this a capitalistic society where we have to have competing prices and competing companies, and you want to keep it like that, and you don't want to have socialism, make sure that everybody gets something. Okay, cool. It has to be then so affordable that the poorest, that the person on the street could afford it. Facts. Self-audits equals self-awareness. Facts. We need more of that. We need a lot more of that. So we're knocking everything out the park today. We're knocking depression out the park. We knocking paranoid schizophrenia out the park. Let's see, I'm at 42. I got to make it to 45. Let me think of the other ones. What are some of the other ones? I just said anxiety. What are some of the other ones, guys? If you guys are aware, let me know. Schizophrenia. Bipolar. Okay. These people are good. Bipolar people are good for this reason. Because these people are able to flip the switch. Sometimes you need to be able to be around, be the life of the party, or sometimes you need to be able to be in a room and don't nobody know you there. PTSD is another good one. I got to talk about that too. PTSD is another good one for sure. PTSD is a really good one, actually, because it tells a story. You're able to share your experience and help alleviate the tension and stress that others are feeling, or be a warning sign and a teacher for what is yet to come or what has already happened. So PTSD is a really, really good one. Bipolar disorder is a good one for this reason, again, because these people can exist in different environments. If used properly, they can have that flip where that energy is all the way on when it needs to be, or all the way off when it has to be, or needs to be as well. As I'm talking about this, I'm thinking about the show. Or the movie X-Men. I'm thinking about that chameleon girl. She reminds me of somebody that's bipolar. Bipolar people are able to change their vibe and blend in any environment. People with paranoid schizophrenia would be like a Magneto, able to use their mind and go to different places. People can read minds. Those voices that they hear, again, we're all in this ocean of, some people are just more hardwired and set in their foundation than others. And that foundation might not be a good thing. We're talking about that too. That foundation might be something they got holes and leaks in their roof. They don't even know it, but they got a solid foundation in what they believe in. So anything else doesn't sway them off. They're able to dismiss those other voices as nonsense or whatever the case may be, or it sounds like nonsense to them. So if you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't tune into that frequency, you're only tuned into what you got going on. That's what that is. People with paranoid schizophrenia, though, a Magneto, they're able to sort through it, like everything on a map. You can know how somebody feel right now in China just by tuning into it. You can know how the war is going on in Iran and how the vibe feels and how people feel. You can see it through their lens if you want to. Your imagination has to get images from somewhere. Some of them say, I don't really have much of an imagination, I can only make up this or whatever the case may be. But just like stock photos, our biome, our anatomy, our everything that we are is filled with preloaded images and preloaded thoughts and preloaded ideas and preloaded. It's in the cloud. We're living in the hard drive. The cloud is above us and we're living in the hard drive. And schizophrenia is a superpower because it allows you to tap into the cloud organically and sift through information. When done with extreme precaution and discipline and awareness, that is telepathy. Great analogy, for sure. Downloads coming to me, dog. Right now, they coming to me right now. But y'all know this is true. If you can see it, and you remove yourself from what you used to being taught about life, about anything, about ideas, about thinking, then this will make a whole lot of sense to you. So, paranoid schizophrenia is a superpower. It allows you to pull from the cloud. Depression is another superpower because it's our body's automatic self-reset button. We ignore so many different signs or indications, we call them vibes, where we either agree with something or we either disagree with something, energetically wise, spiritually speaking. And because of social conditioning or social conditioning, social standards, social agreements. Whereas you're just required to show up, or it would be a good look if you show up for whatever the case may be. Relationships, jobs. I'm talking about everything. You agree with stuff more. Whereas if you take a step back and you look at it like, yo, the vibe I got about old buddy was right. The reason I feel uncomfortable around those group of people is for a reason. The reason I don't like going to this particular store on downtown or around the corner from me. I've been going to it all my life, but I don't feel comfortable going in there no more. Vibes. And then when we keep associating ourselves with people, places, or things that we didn't listen to the original notifications, what happens? The bill piles up. Now our system does an automatic shut off, like, oh, yo, I'm cool. I don't care what nothing. Forget everything. Now I'm no call, no shows. Or now I'm calling sick, and I ain't sick. You know what I mean? But I'm sick. Or I might have made myself sick through stress. All because we didn't pay attention to the pop-up notifications as they appeared. Yep, that's what that's about. That's what that's about. Would you say multiple personality disorder is more a spiritual thing? That was a good one too. So we seen those movies. What's that movie? Was it Splice, or was it the one? What's the one with the same guy that plays in I believe he plays Magneto? Yeah. Was it Split? Yeah, Split. I believe so. He played Magneto in the earlier Chronicles before he became an old bald head man. Solar Gang and the Sea of Excellence, definitely family. But yeah, he played Y'all know that y'all found y'all tribe, by the way. But yeah, he played the younger Morpheus. But anyways, his multiple personalities disorder. How could that be? You might be thinking that kind of has a lot to do with schizophrenia, because those people have identified with the characters or personalities of the voices that they're hearing in this sea of information. So this is how multiple personality can be, because those people in older culture, those people with multiple personality disorders or channelers, that's what they're, I mean, you're automatically that's what they understand it is, because that's what it is. You're channeling something. Those people are channelers. Those people are voices or radios for the other side. The other side of the veil, the other side of the 13% is what those people are. And their whole bodies are bio jumpsuits for the other side to kind of use and express itself with. You know, that's why they might be a 30-year-old British woman, and then another personality, they're a Nigerian 17-year-old student. They getting the information from somewhere. These people, you know, there's no such thing as crazy, because there's nothing new under the sun. And our bodies are so sensitive that we tap into things organically and naturally without us even understanding or having real comprehension over what we're in agreement with already. We're already under MK Ultra. I guarantee you this. I'd argue this with anybody, with the best of them. We're under MK Ultra because we are easily movable with a command, whether it be a global command, a political command, a social command. We are movable with commands, and it changes our vibration and our identity. War with Iran. It's got a lot of sleeper people that didn't have a reason to be stressed out. Now it's got them stressed out. Now everybody's stressed out, and being worried about being bombed. You know how many we get? There's somebody trying to bomb us or threatening to bomb us, or we're worried about some bombs every single decade. Since we've had bombs, since World War II, since we've had bombs, every single decade we've worried about being bombed by some foreign entity, and there's been real credible threat about it, because we've been engaged with war since the Revolutionary War. You know, but people who needed a reason, people who didn't have any solid foundation, or they had solid foundation, but it was just they had holes in their roof and in their foundation, and they weren't aware of it. People like that. It's a lot of people like that. This idea of war has now consumed them, and now it's giving them a reason to be afraid, because it comes from an authority figure. Whereas, as long as authority figures say that everything is okay, they're okay. But as soon as we say anything like war, recession, flu season, whenever we say these key words or anything like that, we get those sleeper cell people to wake up and to just go along with the program. It just goes to show you how many people we still have, you know, socially engineered to care. Like, you know, the vibe was a few weeks ago. What was the vibe a few weeks ago? For example, the vibe a few weeks ago was Pretty, Alex Pretty, and Nicole Good. That was the vibe a few weeks ago. Ice, you know, and we kind of like we're moving off of that. And then the vibe before that was what? The Gulf, Venezuela. That was the vibe, you know, and because social media is the way that we're understanding our anatomy literally in real time. It's literally one of our, one of humanity's last frontier of connecting us back with spirit, with all, amongst this vast portal of bull crap and misinformation and bad stuff to just keep you stuck in the matrix. But social media, by and large, for those of us that are woke, this is our last opportunity to try to connect with everybody and make it make sense so we understand ourselves and so we revolt. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Consider double tapping the screen. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. Let me make sure yeah. Multiple personality disorders, though. That's for sure superpower, though. I stamped that right now, right here. That's for sure superpower. If you could know and you could experience the experiences of people that have been here before you in different levels of life, like meaning like they've been, experiences of rich people, poor people, important people, not important people, people with multiple personality disorders are able to bridge that gap. Again, now I'm not saying that having conversations with these people is going to be an easy thing, because they don't even understand themselves. They don't even understand, because we don't have a system in place to understand them. So traditionally speaking, even if they want to understand themselves, they would be such the outlier, such the one in a million case that, it would be hard to find them that understand themselves whilst having multiple personality disorders, that understand that this is a gift, that they're a channeler for this grid of information that we currently exist in. One of the things that I would say suggests that we're in a simulation of some sort. The multiple personality disorder thing, multiple players loading into the same server. That's what's going on with that. Too many downloads going on right now. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Let me know what y'all think. Oh, PTSD. I want to talk about PTSD a little bit more. PTSD again is another superpower, and I really the goal of this, you should be able to walk away from this and understand and know that in order for society to be a productive society for the human species, as we claim to be the most civilized and socially aware human beings currently on the planet, then it would be in our best interest to make sure that we understand that mental health is literally that. It's your mental health. It's your mental abilities. It should be reclassified as mental abilities. And our lack of understanding or research into it from I'm trying to understand this type of viewpoint is one of the main reasons that you have any type of mental health crisis from the get-go. Maybe I should turn right there. Does it do better? All right. I think that's cool. Yeah. It's just getting more and more glare, whatever. But yeah, walk away from this understanding that people that are depressed, I pause because I want to tell you also how to talk to these people. It's going to vary by case. Again, because we don't come from a society where we're supposed to be able to talk to each other about this. We come from a society where it's the case of, if you're thinking like this and you're behaving like this, you need to be shunned and isolated because you are defective. You're a defective product. You are not a PTSD plug me in. That means you got something to tell. And that's exactly what I'm alluding to. You have information that's to share because you have experienced it. Now your body, and what happens with that PTSD, this is why, again, I'm comparing Eastern cultures to Western cultures. In traditional Eastern cultures, when the warrior goes out, that's a spiritual experience for somebody to go to war. And we've gone to war so many times in our own communities, with our own government. You know, we've been in war so many times. It's a spiritual experience for the soldier to go out and then to come back home. The coming back home part is extremely spiritual because it's like, that's why in most cultures, you got to take your shoes off before you come in the house. You don't need to bring in with you what you just had going on outside. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So in order to avoid that, take your shoes off at the front door. With people coming home from war, they got to take that off at the front door. The whole village, all the women in the village, all the elders in the village, they have, like, I think it's, say they've been out for war for 4 years, they have at least 6 months of healing, community and personal. You have to decompress, or otherwise you're going to be depressed. They understand this stuff. They don't have this stuff in their culture because they understand that when that stuff is going on, oh, this is the reason why. Now your body is physically reacting out of things that were either mentally or spiritually neglected. Now your body is physically responding. You're convulsing. You know what I'm saying? You out of whack. Literally. And figuratively. Excuse me. So, the only way to move forward as a society, and every solo tribesman, every bodman out there and bad lady out there is moving towards society productively, because we're going to understand that these things help us, because there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing wrong with us. There can be things wrong with the conditioning of society and culture that we exist in. There's nothing wrong with the human body, though. So anything that happens with the human body, whether, you know, physically, spiritually, otherwise, there's nothing wrong with it. It was made to respond. How it's responding is something that you need to figure out. That was a good one. That's a real good one. We're going to transition to a little financial literacy, just a little bit, because this goes back to energy exchange and money exchange. That's all money is just energy exchange. That's why paper, literally the cloth, it's not even paper, it's the cloth that these dollar bills are made out of. Do I got some dollars on me? I might have just spent my last little cash the other day. Let me see. Yep, I did. Anyways, you're gonna have to take my word for it. Anyways, money is literally just energy exchange. Most of the time, you know, you might have experienced times in your life when you felt like you were completely without it, but most of the times when you needed something, at the last minute you got it. Because as stressed and as chaotic as that energy was, you narrow focused the energy, kind of streamlined it as best as you could, and you brought it towards you. Seeking you shall find, ask and you will have it granted to you. You do not have not because you do not ask not. I didn't know all dollars were made from hemp. That's pretty crazy right there. It makes sense though. The fabric is spectacular. Material, whatever you call it. You have not because you ask not. And a lot of us don't have because we don't know how to have. So why would you ask for something when you don't even know how to have something? You don't even know that you need to ask for it. It's one of those things. For sure. Like, for sure. Like, I'm saving you. Buy the courses if you want to buy them. Buy the, you know, pay for the mentorship if you want it. I'd rather have a community rather than mentorship. I want to have a community because we learn best from each other. I do have things to share with you guys, though, for sure. But you have not because you ask not, because you're not You don't even know what you would do with $1 million, 100,000, and it's not your fault. Again, you don't know because you don't imagine it. That doesn't even cross you're blind to it. Remember we talk about we have our foundation and we're dead set. When we're dead set on something, we can't see anything going else around us. Just like a house. When we got our house built up, I can't see anything that's going on outside of this house unless I look out, but I'm still looking out of the house from my perspective with my rules of my house and my, my terms. You know what I mean? Chase dollars and they'll float away. Do your own thing, they might come your way. That's a big fact. That's a big fact. That's a Batman lyric right there, isn't it? That's real talk right there, for sure. Real talk right there, for sure. So how do you get this energy exchange in order for you to get more money? Because you might be like, bro, okay, that sounds good, bro. I'm messed up right now. I know I need and I know I want some money. Like, I know that. I know that for you. Like, you can't tell me that I don't, All right. So I'm talking to you. This is what you're going to do. What you're going to do is you need to take inventory then because you're depressed. Because not having causes depression, especially for a society where we get judged on our success in said society by how much we have or what we don't have. So you are depressed. You know what you need to do? You need to sleep on it. That's what you need to do. Take a nap. You're like, bro, that's all I do. I mean, I don't do shit. My mom, my girls, they already call me bum, or I feel like a bum. Doing things, so sleeping without intention or resting without intention is, I would consider lazy or unproductive for sure. Resting with intention, with awareness, even if it's just laying on your back and closing your eyes and allowing yourself to be cleared of the clutter that you constantly digest and ingest on a daily, that's better than just going to sleep or staying up and stressing out about it and wasting time. Because who wants to cook like this when you could cook like this? So you need to take a rest. You do. How long you need depends on how long you've been depressed. Depends on the severity. You can be in a 20-year depression cycle, 10-year depression cycle, and one full day of intentional self-awareness can change your lifetime. Or you can be recently just depressed and you need a month of watching how you think and how you talk. Being intentional with it. Because everything is intentional. Once you get some money, you have to be intentional by how you treat the money. It's energy, right? It's something to take care of. So when you get the money, because you'll get it, when you get the money, because you're going to get it, are you going to be like, oh, I don't need this out? Or, oh, hey, I got money now, hey. That's me making it rain, by the way. I got money now, hey. Something for everybody. Energy is contagious. That's why people can feel when you're about to come up or when you got something going on, because energy is contagious. It's contagious when I see it on you because you have so much of that unseen downloaded onto you and you've tapped into it so abundantly that I can see it pouring out of your vessel because you're glowing now, because you have to glow, because you're filled with so much it. You're filled with it. So you're glowing now. So you're going to be intentional. For some of us, it's just going to take a day. For some of us, it's going to take at least 3 to 6 months. I'm pretty much counting on my 3 to 6 month crowd as far as just really like tapping into like, okay, that's my voice that I just said that. Yeah, for sure, that's my voice. That's not my voice that keeps calling me a loser. Or that's not my voice that keeps saying, I gotta shit on these, excuse my language, I gotta shit on these, you feel me? That's not my voice. I've tapped into something or I've allowed something to download into my register that is not necessarily how I wanna feel, but been saying, okay, I've been accepting that pop-up instead of, you know, letting my virus scanner, which is your indicators, which is your vibes, let my virus scanner tell me what's going on or not. Yeah. So that's what you're gonna do. Some of us, again, this is a 3 to 6 month thing. It's gonna take some time. But when you're being intentional, time is on your side, not the opposite. So I'm gonna leave some room for, because I don't like getting out of here without leaving room for you guys to leave comments or ask any questions. I'll give it a few minutes. I'll be right back. And this episode was brought to y'all by Beats. The real ones. Don't forget to drop your comments down in there. I will answer them in just a second. Whatever you got, we can talk about it. Whatever you got. Doing the real beats too, not the fake ones. All right, let's see what you got. Solo, always elevating my soul. That's what we're, excuse me. That's the whole point of this, brother. We're supposed to be useful, and they call it, excuse me, they call it kingdom building. But that's exactly what it is. The kingdom of what? You know, who are we serving? Choose you this day who you will serve. It as for me and my household. You know, if we're not helping each other understand where we already are to elevate ourselves to something that we need to become in order to usher in a better generation, you know, because that's what it's about, right? It's about these kids that's coming. If we don't understand where we're at yet, we won't be able to properly break the cycle. The same way the baby boomers and their parents weren't really able to talk to them. There was a disconnect. That's the problem. It was a disconnect, a big one. And when it's a disconnect, people get pissed and they don't want to talk anymore because they feel like their way is right. And that's how we get pinned against each other. Like, you're pinned against each other inside the household and outside the household. The older generation don't know how to talk to the younger generation. No matter what race you are. That's just how it goes. Everybody think they had a better way of doing something. But almost all of the examples of culture, regardless if you're 80, 90, except for family and home values, are horrible examples of how to live your life. And one could argue that, excuse me, and one could argue that we were only so connected in family is because the Industrial Revolution, kind of had only been going on for like the last 75 years, since the mid 1800s into the 40s and 50s, and kind of like people had to be, everybody was pretty much farmers where you had to rely on each other. You know what I mean? So people had to be together. So we've been out of touch and out of sync since Babylon was created, really. None of us are from where none of us remember who we are. No matter what race you are. None of us remember. And for those people that come over here that identify culturally with their home, let them stay here long enough, they're going to change regardless of how long that they, how much they love wherever they're from. They're going to change. They're going to be Americanized is the word for it. If not them, for sure their children. For sure. So the issue isn't that we have issues. The issue is that we don't know how to deal with our issues, personally speaking. The richest society in the world with the most cases of suicide and depression in modern history. One could argue, that was a cool looking bird right there. One could argue that all society, all places, but we don't really have much to compare. Because what we learned from, Rome, I think, was the closest thing to what we're doing right here. Rome, Rome closest. Because Rome had different forms of government and still had like an overlord kind of watching over everything. Just, different processes of government and stuff like that got to coexist at different periods. Of course, I'm aware that they had an emperor. I'm aware, same thing with Greece and stuff like that. But we're more similar again because we got that overlord over us that's, watching everything, that really doesn't want anything to go against Roman doctrine, regardless of if it might be true or not. It still needs to be presented in Roman doctrine with the official Rome support and seal. Then it becomes canon. Then, everybody can learn it. Everybody can receive it. They call our Roman leaders today that canonized education were Sigmund Freud. Who else? Nikola Tesla tried to get us somewhere, guys. He tried really hard. You know what happened to Nikola Tesla? He got such either two things happened to Nikola Tesla. Either he's on the other side of that ice wall, enjoying himself, having a good old life, or they have him plugged into a machine somewhere in one of those labs, and his brain is forever imprisoned to work for these shadow societies. I'd like to believe the first one. It's better for him that way. But you know how these movies go. Ain't no telling. So yeah, man. But the point was supposed to be money. Last time we talked about financial literacy Tuesday, I talked about how most people, if you raise the child from the ages of 1 to, let's say, 18 and 21, particularly if you have more than one child as well, you've touched at least $1 million in total capital in that lifetime, in that span of time. Whether that be spending expenses, medical expenses, included expenses. You know, your lifestyle has accumulated $1 million for sure. How do we take care and how do we allocate those funds? So in this season or this chapter of financial literacy, is going to be for sure awareness, more so interpersonal awareness, because excuse me, when you get that money and you have it on your pockets, because you can change a year with having a $5,000 cushion, like savings or just cushion for investment, for etc. $5,000, you can change your life in a year. So it doesn't have to be a major jump, a quantum leap from this. We got it again because we're listening to standards of what a success story is. You can make that jump in a reasonable time frame, in a reasonable strides with calculated measures. You can do it. You can do it. For sure you can. Because that's how they do it. If they didn't get their wealth inherited, which most people who have wealth have gotten their wealth inherited. 80% of people that you see with cool cars, cool clothes, nice houses, they got it inherited. They're not a hard worker. You know? So you work hard, you know? You say I break my back, I clock in early, I clock out late, or I make sure I show up on time, or I do what I gotta do, whatever the case may be. That doesn't still refute the fact or go against the fact that you are not good with money. It might add to me understanding why you don't have financial literacy or not, because you don't have time for it. Okay, for sure, I get it, bro. You don't have time to steward over your belongings. But you are also suffering as a result of it. And if you have children, they are suffering as a result of it. And their children's children, etc. And this is how you pass along generational spirits and curses unbeknownst to you, because you don't have financial literacy. And it's okay. You can do it, though. The first step in financial literacy is going to be that self-audit. Understanding that internal voice. Who is it speaking? Who is speaking? It's the question of who am I? Some people go all over the world to figure out who they are. They got to go to Bali. They got to go to South America to go with a native shaman and do some, have their pineal gland increase to the size of a baseball, and basically take a steroid for self-awakening, where you can microdose. They call it meditation. You can microdose and get the same results in different time frames and different time spans, depending on the case by case. You can do that. And one of your indicators that you might be ready to do that, this is going to tie the whole message in, is if you're depressed, anxious, bipolar, schizophrenic, PTSD. We talked about if you need to know the different factions of those things, go ahead and rewind this live back after it drops. And don't forget to hype it up and stuff like that too. But we talked about each different way that's a superpower. But if you're ready to do this and you're ready to make a change in your life, an actual change, that's just not for you, but it's for generations that come after you. And it's for actually time for you to Wake up now. Then you'll have some of these symptoms. You don't have to have the extreme examples. It can just be general social fatigue. Or maybe you don't feel none of them. You don't have to be diseased to know that it's time. You could be feeling like you can be feeling similar to me right now. You could have this overwhelming, no matter what seasons you go through of anxiety, of depression, it doesn't stick to you anymore because you have almost this predator-like calm. It doesn't stick to you anymore because you know that can't nothing kill you. And I'm not saying physically, you know you can die. You know you're gonna die. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking wizard talk right now. Can't nothing kill you anymore. It can't destroy you. It can only make me uncomfortable. That's all it can do. It can't destroy me. It can only make me uncomfortable. Because I have to do what I have to do while I'm in this life. If you know that and if you're aware of that, or if you think that might be you, congratulations, you're ready. And now, the easy part, or getting started is easy. Staying consistent, it's not gonna be that easy. It's necessary though. It has to be necessary. You understand that, right? You get it. It has to be necessary though. Staying consistent, it has to be. And then you're ready. The science of truth is knowledge. The only wisdom available to the wise is compassion. Well, I'm gonna read that again. Let me see. The science of truth is knowledge. The science of truth is knowledge. The only wisdom available to the wise. So the only wisdom for a wise person is compassion. And you can only have empathy and compassion with self-awareness. That was a great way to close out the show. Yeah, that was a great one. I appreciate y'all being here, by the way. I gave y'all an opportunity to leave any questions, comments. Y'all can leave them underneath this video as it drops. Don't forget to share it and hype it up once it drops. Share it to at least 5 people if you get the chance. I go by the name SOLARMAN, SOLARMAN for short. Mental health is not a disease, it's a superpower, and it's your body's way of saying, I'm not taking any more of this superficial life. Until next time, love.